Alright guys, grab a cup of coffee and take a seat. Today we're going to see what the real damage difference is between a 30k build and a 500k build on Tai Scrapper. If you're feeling bold, leave a comment down below on what % damage difference you think we're going to see. For the sake of testing, we're going to take the worst of 2 damage parses for the budget build and the best of 2 parses from the meta build to look at the worst case scenarios. So what I wanted to showcase here today is the build that I've been running on my Scrapper, which I ended up turning into my main after it had some better honing luck than my Sork. And the build that I'm running here is going to be full Swift crit, and I'm running Precise Dagger instead of Grudge. When I originally made this set, this build ended up costing me under 30,000 gold. At the time, you know, these Taijutsu Keen Blunt or Taijutsu adrenaline kind of rings or earrings are well more than that already at this point, but this is still a build that you can functionally get set up that's going to allow you to save quite a bit of money, and you can build this using Precise Dagger again instead of Grudge, and the damage difference that you'll see here after I showcase it is going to be within. So let's go ahead and we'll just set it to a 1 minute test. We're playing a Tai build, so because the set itself actually cycles fairly quickly, a 1 minute test is more than enough. And let's go ahead and start test here. Alright, so as you can see here, we have 5.349 million DPS, and let's go ahead and get things changed over to the next build now. Scrapper is going to be, again, no Precise Dagger, and we are going to be running Grudge here instead. And we can go ahead and save this. Gems are going to stay the same, skills are going to stay the same. The total amount of crit that gets moved over, if we're going to run matching roughly what is used for the Hell Mode build, we have about 970 Swift, so let's go ahead and I guess let's remove this exactly here to match. So we need to move 674 off. So it's going to be 1209 and 970. 1209, there we go. Still 525, so we're going to be getting an equal test here. Let's go ahead and get this saved here. And then let's go ahead and give this a shot. We'll start with the same rotation. As you can see here, it came out just slightly ahead. I think it might have even actually came out just below. But typically what you'll end up seeing is you can actually shift a little bit more even into Swift if you want to get a little bit different DPS. There is some slight variation in regards to how much we get here. So let's just change this to 1109 and we'll change this to 1070 instead. We can shift this because our crit rate is a little bit high. If you had a crit synergy, we would be over crit cap right now. We want to be aiming for like 85% or lower. So let's go ahead and give it a second test just for clarity's sake. Here, this version is going to end up having a little bit more auto attacking going on, just because of the lack of as much Swift. You'll end up noticing a lot of the variation in the damage, and this really is going to come down to whether or not Death Rattle is critting. With it being at 85% plus, we should be getting a pretty consistent parse in regards to, it's not like we're running a build with 45% crit that we're going to have to test this a bunch of times in order to figure out exactly. Alright, so you can see that one, there's a bit more variance on it here. So we got 5.65 here. Typically, again, from my tests on this, the non-full Swift build does have damage variations, of anywhere from, again, 100 to 300k. So if we compare it to what we had from our first pull there, which was 5,000 or 5,350k. And let's go ahead and divide this by the actual meta version. We'll just call this 65,200. You're looking at roughly a 5% DPS difference. So the trade-off for this 5% DPS difference that you're getting, in a best case scenario, you saw us do the test and we ended up even lower in some scenarios. So this version of it definitely adds a little bit more variance to the build. But what you will see here is, for starters, the Grudge Accessories, themselves, whether it is Tai Grudge or Grudge Tai, you're going to be looking at, again, upwards of 150k plus per piece. So you would end up needing to get a couple of these, or at least one. Any variation of Tai Accessories, whether it's Tai Keen Blunt, Tai Grudge, the ones that are really low are going to be ones that are not crit or Swift. So we're only really looking at crit or Swift. You can snipe some every now and then that are low quality, slightly lower, but around 100k a piece is roughly what you're looking at for these. So you're really looking at like a 300k plus build, whether you're running Adrenaline, Keen Blunt, Grudge, or anything else. You're going to be running into the same issues here. Looks like Adrenaline, sometimes you can snipe these a little bit cheaper than everything else. In comparison though, if you look at a Tai Precise Dagger build that I actually made for another guildmate just recently, is if we look at my interest list here, this is what you're looking at if you're playing Precise Dagger. You're looking at a ring that cost 3,000 gold. And you're looking at another ring that cost 1,000 gold. Or you're looking at a different ring that he ended up paying 15k for just because it fit his build perfectly with the attack speed reduction 1. You're again different Ambush Master, Precise Dagger, different things with Precise Dagger. You can mix and match whether it's Ambush Master with Precise or Keen Blunt, whatever it may be. So you're looking at quite a significant savings in regards to this. I feel like a lot of people are sitting on the gold books now for Grudge and Keen Blunt because they were significantly cheaper when the bots were buying them up, so people were able to pick them up for 6k a piece. So for anyone who does already have their 2 gold books, one of the cheapest ways in order to get their engravings is going to be by running, again, just 5 pieces with Precise Dagger, or at least a couple pieces with Precise Dagger, and then you can roll it on a stone like how I did. In my case, if you're getting stones with Precise Dagger, they're going to be extremely cheap. So you have a lot of different options out there, and again, you're saving hundreds of thousands of gold. And on top of that, you are able to raid without having the downside of Grudge. Alternatively, in my testing, from what we noticed, whether you are running Ambush Master, Grudge, Precise Dagger, Cursed Doll, even Keen Blunt in a lot of these cases, they're all fairly interchangeable. You're going to see, a couple percent difference in DPS between all of them. So take that into consideration. if you end up rolling a stone that's particularly good that's running Crystal instead, feel free to swap out any of these for Crystal as well. Definitely save your money out there if you have to. You don't need to be breaking the bank in order to get a character that's going to be 5x3 and still more than capable of doing all the content in the game. I had all of my characters. I had my characters at 1490 for when Cockle Week 1 came out. We cleared no problem. Using Precise Dagger instead of Grudge was not an issue. And yeah, definitely save that money out there and ensure that you are trying out other variations in Trixion. And I will showcase another one of these for Lancemaster or Sorceress if people are interested. Comment down below and let me know which class you'd like to see a budget build for next, and I will showcase my findings of what I'm seeing in Trixion. In the meantime, feel free to do your guys' own testing, because you might be able to save yourself hundreds of thousands of gold. Have a good one. I've gone ahead and added some bonus footage here with the secondary parses for both the meta Taijutsu Scrapper build and the Precise Dagger build using a Galewind rune instead of Overwhelm on Death Rattle. You can use either one, but the Galewind rune is more likely to end up affecting the high Swift build more than the low Swift, just because it's the build that is going to be able to have something else to hit off of cooldown right away when Death Rattle has a shorter cast, rather than the lower Swift build, which is typically going to be auto-attacking a little bit more. But enjoy the extra footage. Have a good one. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to see more Lost Ark content like this. Leave a comment down below of what other things you'd like to see covered in Lost Ark, and I'll be sure to cover them in the future. If you happen to play on Akkan, you can feel free to add CoffeeCoffee to friends or message me anytime, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about Scrapper or any of the other classes that I play.